breast cancer and domestic violence awareness, supporting loved ones through Silence No More.
And we'll be right back after this.
Yeah, we will be right back after this.
Welcome to Loving Beyond the I Do podcast. This power couple is building stronger marriages one day at a time. Talking about real issues on love, relationships, and marriage longevity. Let's break down the barriers and engage in healthy conversation with your hosts, Jason and Tina Marie. Take a seat and buckle up because things are about to get real.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to another week. We've made it to Friday. No Drama Friday.
I think we're going to rename this series No Drama Friday. It was Friday Night Live, and we had that for a few years, but I think it's going to be No Drama Friday from this point on because we definitely don't do drama on Friday.
All right.
So for all of our viewers out there, if you have questions, we want you to pose your questions and just be engaging behind each section. So just type in your questions after each topic, and then we can kind of address them as we go along. So welcome to Loving Beyond the I Do podcast live conversation. I'm Jason, along with my sidekick, my wonderful wife.
I think the script says wonderful, beautiful, intelligent, and talented.
It's just co-author, everything. There's every adjective in there.
All right.
So we have a very special guest joining us tonight. To our very own breast cancer warrior, a former domestic violence advocate, Miss Teresa Lipsey. Welcome, Teresa. And then I'll have you to share.
Yeah, share a little bit about yourself. Let the viewers know all about you. Let's welcome Teresa.
Hey, Teresa. Hey.
Hey, good afternoon. Good evening, everybody. My name is Teresa Lipsey. What's something about me? So, I have a fabulous son who's 35 years old.
Okay.
Wonderful.
My professional background is government procurement. Live in the south suburbs of Chicago.
And what do you like to do?
What I like to do. So, I am a health and wellness enthusiast. So I love anything healthy from working out to even cooking those healthy dishes. I love family and friends. Love spending time with my family, friends, and my newest love is travel. I love to travel.
Wow.
So my next bucket list trip next year, I'm going to Greece with a couple of my girlfriends. We're going to eight-day Mediterranean cruise. So I'm super excited about that.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. So yeah. Just a little
All
bit
right. So tell us a little bit before we go on, just being a breast cancer warrior, and just real briefly, because we're going to get into it later, and also being a former domestic violence advocate.
Okay. So I'm 11 years cancer free.
Congratulations.
That's 11
Awesome.
years
Awesome.
cancer-free. Women, you got to get that mammogram because they caught mine early enough that they were able to treat it and I am healed.
Wonderful.
So we'll talk about that. I still have some things I have to do because I am considered BRCA1, and that's the carrier of the gene for breast cancer. So we'll talk about that, but God is faithful.
Yes.
Yes.
And then, yes. So I was a domestic violence advocate from 2016, probably to 2015, 16. And I worked for a company called South Suburban Family Shelters, and we did it was a medical advocacy, and we'll talk about that, where we actually were in the hospitals. And we were able to talk about the services that the shelter offered. And then we also sheltered women who came into the emergency room and men.
Okay, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't
forget about
that's
us.
right.
Yes.
No, it's not gender specific. Absolutely.
It's not at all. Who needed some resources, some advice. And there had been times when I had to actually shelter a couple women where we had emergency shelters that we would shelter them until we can get them a long-term plan. So we can
wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yep.
All right, let's go on. All right. So thank you, Teresa. Hey, viewers, did you, so if you know that we also always include lasting love, right? So our podcast is always about relationships. And so this is one of those things that if you want to find good relationships, you want to get good information about how to make your relationship better, this is the place to get it from.
For sure.
Right? So let us go on. We are the host of Love and Beyond the I Do podcast. We are life and we are certified life and relationship coaches of legendary relationships. We are authors of the bestseller, authors of the bestseller, Manifest a Joy-Filled Relationship. So that's Manifest a Joy-Filled Relationship. Today we're talking about the importance of supporting loved ones through breast cancer and domestic violence, bringing awareness and no longer keeping the silence, breaking the silence. All right, so throughout the podcast, we will be making comments, we'll be talking, we'll be giving information. If you have any questions, any concerns, you can drop them in the comment line. Please remember that if you want us to shout you out and thank you for viewing in tonight, please make sure you put your name in the comment line so that we can see it. We cannot see who is viewing. We cannot see your name. So in order for us to shout you out, you have to drop it in the comment. This is a live podcast, which means that we want you to be interactive. We want you to ask questions. We want you to put comments. We want to know what's going on, whether you are a warrior, survivor, whether you've supported someone, whether you've encountered domestic violence, whether you knew about. We want to know it all. So there is nothing too small or too large, because we are here to spread the awareness. And in order to do that, we have to speak up. We have to be active participants.
All right, we got a comment.
All right, let's view our comment.
All right, so we have, yes, Greece. Hi, Teresa. So, but that is Yolanda Williams. Hey, Yolanda, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Yolanda. That is actually we've been friends since we were in the 6th grade.
Wonderful.
So she is one of my travel buddies. So we have those people we travel with and we're going to have a good time. She is the one. So I sent the link to her and she's supporting me. I love my small circle of girlfriends.
There you go.
There you go. We got another one coming in.
All right.
Oh, that's my other Cheryl. That's my other friend. Oh, I love you guys so much. Thanks, Cheryl.
It's nothing like support, right? It is nothing like support.
Absolutely. Nice to see a familiar face and a familiar name, right?
All right. Creative View says, hello, everyone.
Hello.
How are you? Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. These are important topics, but we're here every Friday to talk about relationship.
Everything pertaining to relationships.
Right. And this definitely pertains to relationships.
And we're not just talking about intimate relationships. We're talking about if you can get yourself together to get in the right relationship, you'll be able to have better relationships at work, better relationships at the gym, better relationships with kids.
With your kids.
That's better relationship with your coworkers and just your spouse and everyone.
And be a better friend.
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, yes. All right, Jason, I think it's up on you.
Is it on me, baby?
It's on you.
All right. You know me, I'm playing around with all my toys.
I know.
Hilarious.
So I know sometimes people are like, Tina, you do a lot of the talking. That's because Jason has to be the controller also.
Yeah.
So
I'm the producer and the talent.
So until we get our
so here you go. So this is where you can follow us. Follow us on all social platforms. We're at Legendary Relationship everywhere. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, X, whatever you guys want to call it. Follow us everywhere. We got a lot of things going. So just follow us. Also, we have a book as well. I don't know if we mentioned that or not, but we just had a book that just came out. So you guys definitely you want to pick that up. Manifest a Joy-Filled Relationship is definitely something that is going to help a lot of people in their lives.
Manifest a Joy. Let me get my camera right. Manifestajoyfilledrelationship.com is where you can pick it up at. Manifest. We have a lot of tools, techniques, exercises, things that some aha moments up in there. But get it and learn how to manifest a joy-filled relationship.
Right. So
let's get into
Creative View is it says Mel.
Oh, that's my cousin. That's my cousin Melody. She must be that son.
In the beginning.
Hello. That's like my cousin. We grew up together, and she was one of the women who supported me through my breast cancer journey. She said,
Okay.
we gonna cry tonight, but it's Team Teresa tomorrow. And she kept
That's
her
right.
word. And she
There
That's
you
it.
kept her
go. There
word.
you
Yes.
go. All
There you
We
go.
right.
cried, and we was Team Teresa.
And we
Mhm.
have one more. Hello.
One of my other
Hello.
six friends from the sixth grade, and this is my true travel buddy. This
I
is my
see it.
girlfriend
Hey.
that keeps it real. She be like, don't do that.
Always need one of those, right?
How do you
Yes,
pronounce her first name?
Twyla.
Twyla Nash. Thank
Twyla,
you so much for joining us. We greatly
Yes.
appreciate it. Thank you,
Yes.
Twyla.
I love my friends. We're gonna
Thank you.
have
Yeah,
Thank
they
you.
showing
Thank
up for
you.
you big time.
yes, they are.
All right. So, breast cancer awareness. Welcome everybody to October is breast cancer month, right? Breast
Right.
cancer awareness
Awareness
month.
month.
A time dedicated to increasing awareness, celebrating survivors, supporting those currently battling the disease, and encouraging everyone to take action to detect breast cancers early. Breast cancer is the most common cancer in women worldwide. But early detection, like Teresa said earlier, can save lives.
Yes.
During this month, we promote education, screening, and research aimed at ending this disease.
All right. So, Jason and I, we did a little research for tonight. We did talk about the topic last week. And so I did some just some research to share with you guys the signs of breast cancer. So while breast cancer doesn't always present clear symptoms, here are some of the most common warning signs to look for: a lump or thickening in the breast, changes in the breast size or shape. It can also be skin changes or pain, persistent pain in the breast or nipple that doesn't seem to be related to your menstrual cycle. So, if you notice any of these signs, it's important to see a healthcare provider for further evaluation. Remember, not all lumps are cancerous, but it's better to be proactive. So, Teresa, if you don't mind, please share your experience with us. Like maybe what you noticed, why you decided, or was it just a normal routine evaluation? You know, you just went to the doctor. So, share with us as much and you're comfortable with, but
Mhm.
just let us, just kind of let us peek into that experience.
So let's talk about what led me to be more proactive about my health and wellness. So I come from a family has a history of cancer, from breast cancer, ovarian cancer, prostate cancer. My mother, she died of ovarian cancer. I have an aunt who had breast cancer. So for me, my mother got ovarian cancer. I was probably in my 30s, and that honestly scared me. So I became more proactive about living a more healthy life. So I started going to the doctor on a regular every month, get my checkup. So this one particular month, year, I went for my annual checkup, and they saw something on my mammogram that they hadn't seen last previous year. So
Mhm.
I thank God for the radiologist who read my results. So they immediately sent me in for a ultrasound of my breast, and then they came back showing that they need to do further examination. They did a biopsy, and that's when they found out I had breast cancer. And I just prayed, I prayed, I prayed. So I knew that the when the doctor called me, said, I need you to come in this evening after hours, and I knew that's what it was. My cousin, Melanie, and my
Mhm.
son, we went to the doctor, and she told me. And
So it was detected at a
through mammogram,
routine through
mammogram.
a routine mammogram. And so you said you were in your early 30s. Is that what you said?
I started going in my
Okay.
early 30s
Oh,
to be
okay.
more
To
Okay.
get
consistent.
checked. Okay.
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 So I got diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 45.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
young. Yeah, 45. So my cousin Melanie and I, we said we're gonna cry tonight and it's Team Teresa tomorrow. So my journey began. Numerous doctor's appointments. I was diagnosed with BRCA1, and BRCA1 is the gene carrier, and that means that the chances of it reoccurring are much greater. I can get risk of having ovarian cancer, and so it was suggested that I also have a hysterectomy and get a bilateral mastectomy. So I will talk about that later. So we went through I had the lumpectomy. I didn't get my bilateral. If I knew 11 years ago what I knew now, I
Right.
would have had them both removed, because every year I go through this thing of anxiety when it's time to have my mammogram. So I've decided to go ahead and get the surgery, so I can get rid of the anxiety. So
Wonderful.
yeah, I am. I have to, because every year it just freaks me out. So let's talk about moving forward. So I went through the treatment. So I had the lumpectomy, and I had a great oncologist, a great support team, a great OB-GYN. So I had the lumpectomy in my right breast. Then I had 4 rounds of aggressive radiation chemo. I'm sorry, 4 rounds of aggressive chemo, and it was every 21 days.
Wow.
So it was hard on my body. I lost all my hair.
Mm-hmm.
I became very dark. I gained about 50 pounds. They put me on the steroids so I would not lose the weight. I'm gonna be transparent. My fingernails fell off and my toenails fell off. But I trusted God. So people say, "Well, how
Right.
did you do it? How did you do
Right.
it?" That was the lowest point of my life, and I want to tell you why it was the lowest. I had bad credit. I was in an unhealthy relationship. I was at a job that we didn't know who was gonna get laid off the next day or the next day or not. And I was straddling the fence with the Lord. One minute I'm out kicking it with my girls, hanging out with my
Right.
man, getting up Sunday morning. God was like, no. So I just a
But
lot
isn't
was
he
going on.
faithful?
He's
Isn't
so
he
faithful. He
faithful?
is,
Mhm.
Right.
girl. I am
All
a
right.
testimony. I am a testimony. I am.
But
So
you can't be a testimony without a what?
I test.
There you go. There you go.
So my family, we went to the hospital. We had the surgery. I had one of my girlfriends, and I didn't ask people when they found out. Women have to know, you have to share, be transparent, because there are people who want to support you. Because
Right.
every woman that supported me, I didn't ask; they volunteered.
Mm.
I couldn't drive. One of my girlfriends said, "I'll take you where you need to go." I had girlfriends take me to the grocery store, buy me groceries. I had people checking on me. I had one of my girlfriends, and I feel like that was her assignment, because me and her are not friends anymore. This
Mm.
one girl, she prayed for me constantly. We would pray for hours at a time. So, and we're not friends anymore. So I felt like I was her assignment. I feel like all those women during that period when I was going through the breast cancer were my assignment.
Okay,
So
so let's pause right there because we're going to get into that too. Also,
okay.
how because last week we were like, how can you support someone, right?
Mhm.
And that's important. So, let's get into that, and then we're going to come back and ask you more about them showing up and supporting you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man. Woo. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for being transparent. So we're
Yes.
Thank you.
talking about promoting awareness, sharing information about the importance of early detection and regular screenings. Thank you so much for that, Teresa. So checking in on loved ones, participating in fundraisers. This is some things that men can do, right?
Anybody.
And well, anybody, but I'm just saying, sometimes for men, we feel helpless, right? We really can't do much. We're just on the sidelines. So, I mean, but you can promote the awareness. You can participate in fundraisers. You can donate. You can support someone who has it, and then you can be a advocate for access.
So when we're talking about support someone, right, offering emotional support, someone
Mhm.
that's battling it, someone that may be in the middle of it, or even someone that may be who have just come through, right, the treatments.
Mm-hmm.
So now going into that, Teresa, tell us how what were some of the ways that people showed up and supported you, and what were your feelings at that time, and then now looking back, because sometimes I know when you're going through it, it's the idea of I don't really want to tell anyone. I'm ashamed, or I don't want to spread it, or
Or
there's
did
a
you or
lot of
did you feel like
emotions.
that? Did you feel
Right.
ashamed or just
So
embarrassed?
just kind of share with us your thought process, and then what you did to reach out and ask for support, or how people supported you and you welcomed it. So just all what everything encompassed.
So I was afraid. Initially, I was afraid.
Hmm.
I
Mhm.
was gonna die,
Right.
because we always think about cancer as death.
Right.
Right.
So I started with my cousin Melanie. And then I just started telling my friends. I had one of my neighbors that lived in my apartment building. I told her. She said, "What can I do to help?" I had my girlfriend Cheryl. What can I do? Cheryl would take me to the grocery store because I couldn't drive because of the surgery. And then I had a stick shift at that time. So how am I gonna drive a stick and I couldn't drive? Right, I'll never do that again. I had one of my friends, Leonetta. She was a prayer warrior. She would pray for me all the time. One time I got really sick. I had to go to the hospital. She stayed with me till 2 in the morning. I have friends who introduced me to how to make a good smoothie.
Okay.
Right? Just
stuff.
to,
So
yeah, yeah.
just the simple stuff, just a good smoothie will make me laugh. My friend Cheryl, she had the best sense of humor, would have me laughing all the time. So those women were they were my assignment. I was their assignment. So you know what? I trusted God. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like at this point in my life, like everything was just like bad for me. So I'm like,
Right.
God, like I just trust you. So I had a conversation with God and I just promised him some things that I would do if he would heal my body.
Mm-hmm.
So I continued to work. I went to work every day. I
Wow.
would have chemo on Fridays and go back to work on Mondays. Radiation
Okay.
was Monday, was 26 rounds of radiation. I had radiation Monday through Friday. I went to work in the morning, got off early, and went had my radiation, went to work the next day because I
Wow.
trusted God.
Right.
Right.
So I
Right.
just shifted and I trusted God. I trusted him. I continued to just saturate my body with his word. I became more healthy about what I ate in my body. I stopped eating meat,
Absolutely.
no dairy. I fasted, I prayed, and I trusted God. And I saturated my spirit with his word. I was redeemed from the curse of the law.
So let me ask you this. When people asked, what can I do to support you? What was your answer?
Whatever they felt they needed to do, whatever you felt you needed to do. So they would ask, like, what's going on with you today? What do you need today? And I would tell them because I felt like these women would not ask if they were not genuine. There was a sense of genuine. And then some of them just did it without hesitation. They just
And
fixed me food without hesitation after they found I had the breast cancer because it could have been them.
And so
Mm-hmm.
you said you were fearful in the initial beginning. I see we have some comments, Jason. So if you want to bring them up and then you can recognize them. You said you were fearful. And at what point through the prayer did you realize that fear was not the answer? What was the mind shift?
So one day, it's so funny, I'm about to cry. So one day I got home and I was so exhausted. My body ached. I went to work, but my entire body ached.
Mm-hmm.
So I got home one day and I just had a breakdown moment and I asked God, when are you going to give me a break? And I tarried with God for 1 hour. I said, when are you going to give me a break, God? I got all this stuff going on. When will I get a break? And that's what I felt God say, that's why I need you to ask for my help. And when that day, I remember the next day was a shift. I just knew I would be healed.
Amen.
I
All
just
right.
knew it. And I think God just needed me to cry my heart out to him. When I said I cried my heart out to him. I cried. And that was the shift. And from that day forth, I never looked back. I trusted him. I knew I would be healed.
Wonderful.
Yep.
All right. So let's take our comments real
All right.
quick.
So Dennis chimed in.
Hey, Dennis, welcome to the show.
he
Happy
said-
Friday.
he's-
Thanks for tuning in.
Yep. And then he said he's got just jumped on to support, which we appreciate that, Dennis. You always
I'm
do.
actually out and about
Oh.
with Mom. Hi, Mom. How you
Nice.
doing?
Yep.
Nice.
And shopping in Detroit. Wonderful.
Yep.
We'll watch the replay.
All right.
Woo.
Don't
All right.
forget to comment too while you
And don't
watch
forget
it.
to share.
That's
Don't
right.
forget to share when
Share
you
and
view that.
comment.
That's right.
Right. If
Thank
you got
Dennis.
for everyone that's out there watching, type in the comments, give Teresa some support.
Yes.
Just because she's a
drop some
warrior right
hearts.
now. Yeah, give her some love, give her some heart.
Thank you.
Just let her know that
Thank
hey,
you for
we're
sharing.
here with you on
Thank
this
you for
ride.
sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you for the courage, as you said.
Yeah, you know, because once you come out of an experience or a challenge, now we're asking you to go back
Right.
and relive
Exactly.
that. And that's not easy for anyone to have to go through. And I see that you got emotional because you're going back to that place. You're going back when you said, when are you going to save me? When are you going to help me? When am I going to come out of this? How am I going to get better? When is it going to get better for me?
Yes.
So
All right.
we
So
just want to
we
say
think
thank
that,
you.
yes, thank you for sharing. Thank you for coming on, willing to do this. So also now let's get some things where you can get help. If someone is affected by cancer, help is available. So let me read some of the things that I may have here. The National Breast Cancer Foundation provides resources, free mammograms, and education. Visit the website
Okay,
at
so go ahead.
there you go. All right. American Cancer Society. I don't know why my thing keeps coming up.
There you go.
I'm going to read it from off my
Okay,
thing.
go ahead.
All right. So breastcancer.org.
Mm-hmm.
And then it provides, and you can read it, the Patients with Centered thing. So then we have the Susan G. Komen Foundation. And then we have your local healthcare providers. So make sure that you contact your local hospital or clinic to schedule your regular mammogram and consultation. That is so
It's so
important.
important. That is
So,
so
Teresa,
important.
besides some of the places that we've mentioned, is there any places that you found resources or that were helpful that was not mentioned? Because I know when we ask, where are some places that you can go, they always give you the most, the most known. Is there some place that you may have gone that you found was very beneficial, but may want to shout their name out?
So there was one location. I just cannot remember right now. Maybe I can just share it with you guys, and you can, because
Share it later. Okay.
There's two local places that offer free services from women. One, if it's down to head coverings,
Okay.
if it's down to like books or materials to help them get through their
Right.
journey. And it's one place, and I'm so sorry, but I'll give it to you guys that will actually give
No
women,
problem. No problem.
It's okay.
Yeah.
because when you're going through breast cancer or any type of cancer, you can't get your nails done. So they have special fingernail polish for your nails. So this
Wonderful.
Oh,
place
didn't
Oh,
know
offers
that.
wow. Didn't know
manicures.
that. Okay.
Yes, you can get manicures, pedicures, and then when you're going through the treatment, you can't get massages. So they have
Wow.
special massages for cancer patients, and it's like a spa for women with breast cancer, and it's in Homewood. Both locations are in Homewood.
That's
So
wonderful. Are the
yeah,
services free or do you
they're
charge?
free. No, they're free.
Wow.
Wonderful.
They may
Wonderful.
ask you to make a donation, but they're free. Unfortunately, I cannot think of them right now. But Tina, Jason, I will give them to you, and you can share with the audience.
Yes. Yes.
I
That's
Next
sure will.
amazing.
We'll
Thank
do
you.
that.
Thank you for sharing
Yes.
that information.
and it's free. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
went to
That's
those
good
two
to
places.
know.
Yeah,
Education is key. All
Yeah.
yeah.
right. Yep.
And
So,
we-
and a lot of people don't know that because they don't know, right? So I'm glad that you share that, and I'm glad that you're able to. And like I said, whenever you get the information, once we get that information, we will drop it on the replay of this so that you guys can look for that.
And then one
Okay?
thing I want to tell any woman, whoever's going through that, you can ask for a nurse navigator. So a nurse navigator is somebody who's going to help you through the breast cancer process, through the healing process. I had a great nurse navigator. So if they don't offer it, ask, can I have a nurse navigator? And they should give you a nurse navigator.
No. All right. All right. Very good. Sorry about that. Yeah. All right. So let's stand together. So that's we're lifting up and bringing up Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Let's stand together to raise awareness, promote early detection, and support those affected by breast cancer. Whether it's by spreading the word, participating in fundraiser events, or offering a helping hand to someone in need, each one of us can bring some type of action, just to finding closer to a cure, or just spreading the awareness to go get checked, to do the things that we need to do that's in alignment with what we should be doing, because cancer doesn't have an age.
Nope.
Right? And so we know now more than ever that we need to go and get checked earlier and earlier. So thank you, Teresa. Now we're going to move into our next message. Are we still doing breast cancer now?
We move over to
Got two heavy topics today.
Yes,
yeah, they are. They're important.
Heavy. They're important. Heavy.
Oh, you know what?
important.
So before we skip to the next one, there was some things that we found, do's and don'ts pertaining to breast cancer. And so I thought that was important because last week I asked, how do you support someone, or how do you show up, or how do you even ask for support, right? What if you don't have a support system? So here were some do's and don'ts that we found that was beneficial, that we thought would be helpful.
All right. So you listen and offer emotional support. You respect their feelings and their choices, right? You don't force your will onto anyone. You offer practical help, not what you think should be what you would do, and you're not really going through it. So it's just practical help.
And so it's the things that can ease their day. Like you said, Teresa, like just asking, hey, let me show you how to make a good smoothie that's helpful, right?
Right,
That's
right.
healthy.
Because you know you need to eat better, right? Yep.
You have no appetite.
And then, and if you're going to offer help, you need to educate yourself, right? Know what's important, know what you're talking about. So just don't go out there just repeating something that you've heard before.
Exactly.
Just make sure you get educated if you're offering to help someone. Be polite, but also be realistic.
And be positive.
Yeah.
You have to, like
That's the
Teresa
first
said,
thing, yes.
right. Teresa said that she was fearful. And so you have to, in order to battle something, you have to stand up against what it is you're fearing and trust in something. And so for her, trusting in God. And, every person does something different, but she trusted the Lord and he saw her through. So
Yeah. And then you have to celebrate the milestones, right? No matter how small they are, right? You have to take and celebrate those little wins and be patient.
So, Teresa, let me ask you, it says to celebrate the milestones. How important is that to you?
I can't even describe it. Every year that God gives me a day on earth, I'm blessed. Every milestone, for me saying that I'm cancer free, every year that that my mammogram came back okay, every year that the year I saw my son graduate college from his
Wonderful.
first home, I'm just very grateful that he took me from being to having a about bankruptcy to having a beautiful home. Just those milestones are so important that God gave me another chance at life. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful that through this journey that my walk with him has grown. It's a milestone that I have great friends now. It's 11 years. It's 11 years. I'm
Is
so
amazing.
grateful.
Yes.
It's
That is
11 years.
amazing.
11 years.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And so there are also some don'ts to do also. So it says, don't offer unsolicited medical advice.
Right.
Don't give suggestions or treatment options or alternative therapies, right? So we always want to do that. Well, my grandmother said this, and why don't
Right.
you try that? Avoid saying things like, have you tried this supplement? Or I heard about this new treatment you should try. So those are some of the things. It says, don't minimize their experience. Don't say things, don't downplay it, the seriousness of it, right? Or what they're going through. Avoid saying, at least it's not as bad as, right? So, and I think sometimes we're trying to help, but so here's some things not to do. If you're supporting someone on that journey, right? So don't focus solely on the illness, because it's the person, it's not the illness that's important.
That's right.
So don't make every conversation about the diagnosis or the treatment or the cancer, right? Ask about their hobbies, their interests, their plans. Keep them, like we said, keep positive vibes and information as if this illness wasn't the main thing in their life. They're already fighting it. It's already in front of them. Let's be that other, thing that they can focusing on life.
Don't assume that you know how they feel. Oh, I know
Absolutely.
how you feel. No, you don't know how I feel, right? Unless you're walking in my shoes, you really don't know. And don't pressure them to stay positive. Some days, like you said, Teresa, you're not going to be okay.
Right.
Nah.
And you have to be okay with not being okay. So,
But don't
if
stay
you're going to come over
okay.
and support someone, you have to support them
At the way
support
they
them
need
where
it.
they're at.
So,
Right?
and support
If-
them how they need it, not
Right.
how you think they need
Yeah,
it.
what do you need today? And if you need to cry, let's cry. If you need to be happy, you need to get out of the house, let's do that. So whatever it is, that's what we need to do.
And
But
don't pressure. Go ahead, Teresa.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I wanted to say something in regards to the disease that for me, you have to also look at people's immediate family who's in the household. So for my son, he's also going through this cancer journey with
Right.
me.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So we have to also think about how it impacts your family. And how did it impact my family? My son had a circle of friends that he still has today. The one of them got married last week, and I went to the wedding. That there were times I would have 8 young men in my house just
How nice is
hanging
that?
out with my
Yes.
son, and they would come and watch TV with me. We'll be all in the living
That's
room watching
wonderful.
TV.
Having that support system.
System.
Yes.
Right. So he also need that support because he didn't know what was going to
Right.
happen. This is me and him. It's
Mm.
me and him forever. So because he had that support system for himself as well, it also helped him to the journey. So the journey was about about him as well.
And that was my next point. Also ask about the caregivers, the people in the house, the people who are closest to them, because it's a lot, because they don't even know how to support you. And they're probably just as fearful as you, or tired, or, trying to do the best they can. And so don't forget about the caregivers. Don't forget about the immediate family that's in the struggle with them also. That's totally important. Do we have another comment, Jace?
Yep. Antoinette said, "Hello, everyone."
That's one of my sister friends.
Your sister
wonderful.
friends coming strong.
Welcome, Antoinette.
Yep, and Cheryl's just giving up prayer hands.
Yes,
and Twyla is giving
Hearts.
hearts.
There you go.
Yep.
So just show Teresa some love, drop some hearts, give us some praying hands, give us some fist bumps, whatever you want to just say thank you for sharing, because that's so important. So often there's so many breast cancer awareness walks and so many things that's going on, but we're still not talking about it. Right. We're trying to do better, but we still have to get that ground level work. Let's talk about it. Let's understand what we need to do. Let's not be fearful of taking those proactive steps, as you said, right? Let's make sure we're making better choices, eating right, getting our proper health and sleep and things like that. Health is so important. And so for you guys who want to know, Teresa is actually one of our gym buddies. So we work out together every morning.
So
we work out and socialize. I mean,
I think her socializing and working out.
We need good conversation. We work in the body and feeding our minds. So
there you go.
So God is faithful. Opportunities. These are all opportunities.
All opportunities.
That's all they are. Opportunities.
So we have to remind each other from time to time. Stop all that talking and get some work done. Lift some weights.
That's right. Rachel is chiming in. She said, "Hey, Teresa."
That's my friend from New Life. I met her at church one day. I was like, "You got anybody sitting here?" She's like, "No, you sitting here." From there, we developed a friendship.
Wow. Wonderful. Welcome to the
Rachel.
show. Welcome to the conversation, Rachel. And as before, if you guys have any questions or if you would like to make any comments through your personal experience, feel free to do that too.
All right.
So that's cool. That's right. That's what we do. We work out. So we have a church family. We have this family. We have that family. We have a gym family.
Yep.
And so it's so nice to have different areas of your life. And so we really look forward to the morning. So for anyone out there, we get up. But Teresa, what time do you normally get to the gym?
Between 6 and 6:30. This depends.
We're out there, guys. We're not playing. We're not no 9, 10 o'clock people.
That's right.
Jason and I, we get up at 5 and we leave the house at 6, and we usually get there about between 6:20 and 6:30. So, yep. So for all of you guys wondering, Teresa is our gym family.
Yes. I have the bomb gym family. I do. I have a really good gym family.
We have a good time.
We do. We really do. Yeah.
So we're gonna get into the topic of domestic violence, which Teresa
Christina said she gets up at 4 a.m.
All right.
That's my son's girl. That's Christina.
Christina,
I do give it 4 a.m. to Christina. Yes, 4:30, because you have to command your day. So I command my day.
There you go.
You can't get nothing done in the bed, right?
That's right.
I know sometimes when my husband or our children
are you talking about me?
Too late. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. You said your husband. I was looking around like talking about somebody else.
No, this husband only got one. If he decides to sleep too long, which is very rare, I'll be like, your dream is running down the street. You go get
she's
it.
good for saying that.
You can't catch your dream in the bed.
Yeah.
Your dream is running. I saw your dream, had your name on it. So we got to get up and command your day, as Teresa said.
But Christina, I ain't getting up at 4 a.m. though. 5 is my limit so far. She said, "Hey guys,
hey,
thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining the conversation.
Early riser."
I'm just gonna say, the other day, Wednesday, we brought some cookies to the gym, and we let Teresa try it. And I thought Teresa was gonna take it home. I looked up, Teresa, did you get? She's like, eating this cookie right now. This cookie right. This is my pre-workout. I said, I heard that.
My pre-workout. That was my pre-workout. That double chocolate chip cookie. That was the devil. It was so good. But I was able to lift. I was working on my back that day, so my back got a good workout that day. So
There you
that was
go.
my pre-workout.
But that was a good cookie, wasn't it? That was a good cookie. You enjoyed it as you went to your
That
pre-workout.
was a whole stick of butter in that one cookie by this year, y'all.
And then one cookie.
But it was good.
It was delicious. I told them they need to.
So for
Y'all
you
need
guys who don't know, our sons and my husband started a cookie business as well, and it's called Bros Cookies, and you can go get you some. They're amazing, amazing. I'm not even a cookie, like seriously, I'm not a sweets person.
Yeah.
And over the past month, since they've been cooking them, it's like if they leave one out, I'm getting it. The night
Well-
before I gave it to you, it was Tuesday night. I had 3 double chocolate chip cookies with some peanut butter morsels and some
ice
walnut.
cream. Don't
And,
forget you.
I mean, it was.
She went to the freezer and got that ice cream.
I was like, baby, we got to get to the gym on time today. All right, so let's get into domestic violence,
Okay.
which is another serious topic. And last week, if you guys didn't see it, please make sure you go and watch the replay. Just bringing awareness. This is also, October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And Teresa is a former domestic violence advocate. So Teresa, just real briefly, tell us about your role in that position.
So I work for an agency called South Suburban Family Shelters. Now it's called Anew. They rebranded the company name. I just want to make sure I get it right. And it's called Anew. I'm sorry. So they had a medical advocacy program, and we were in the actual hospitals in the south side of Chicago. I mean, south suburbs. So what I would do as an advocate, there is a window when you have the highest amount of domestic violence occurrences between the hours of 6 and 10 o'clock. So the advocates were in the hospital. That's when most occurrences occur, because it's when the husband's coming home.
From what? Yep, that's what I was thinking. When you're coming home from
Wow.
work. Yep.
So
Give me those hours again.
between 6. So we were always in the hospital between the hours of 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. Those are the highest occurrences of just the domestic violence, because that's when the husband comes home from work. So what we would do as a hospital
but or people come home from work, because we know domestic violence is just not about men or women. People,
Correct.
right?
People.
Because a woman could come home from work and be frustrated too, and
Correct.
so
Right.
all right.
So we would go in the hospital, and what I would do as a medical advocate, I would just kind of tell people about South Suburban Family Shelters, what we do. We will talk about the cycle of violence, because there's a cycle of violence, and we would talk about the resources we would have for those women who were interested in seeking services from South Suburban Family Shelters. They were all for free. So then if a woman came into the hospital who was identified as a domestic violence victim, the hospital staff would ask us to go and talk to the victim. Some cases we would do an intake. If they need to be sheltered, we had emergency shelter. If they had no place to go, we would shelter them. If they didn't need shelter or just needed resources, we would go ahead and do an intake, and then somebody from the shelter would reach out her to the next day and set her up with resources such as free counseling, developing a safety plan if she needed to get out in the future, because maybe she was not ready to leave or could not leave. So, I had sheltered a number of women who came in to the hospital who had no place to go because they were abused by their partner. So that's
Wonderful.
what I did.
Wow.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Wow. So
Let's get the understanding of domestic violence. As I said, we want to make sure that we're getting the information correct. So we're trying to bring it to you so that you can have it correctly.
So domestic violence is a pattern of behavior that any relationship that is used to gain or maintain power and control over an intimate partner. It can take many forms, including physical, emotional, verbally, psychologically, and financial abuse. The domestic violence affects people of all genders, race, ages, and economic statuses. Thank you so much for that. The key is recognizing that no one deserves to be treated that way.
All right. So what are some of the signs of domestic violence?
Well, some of the signs are, one is physical abuse. Obviously, that's the most common, right?
Bruises, cuts, unexplained injuries.
Now, this one here is hidden, right? So you have emotional abuse, right? That constant criticism, humiliation, or degrading remarks. And sometimes, like you'll be around and that'll go on between a couple, and it just make you feel uneasy. So,
and it usually starts small,
right,
and then
right.
it it's just to you, and then it's out in public, and then it's around your friends. So
But then you also have verbal abuse,
right,
right? The yelling, the threatening, the name calling, psychological
manipulation, like
right.
gaslighting, right?
Yeah, they go that term again, that
Right.
gaslighting. Yep.
Isolating you from your family and friends,
Yep.
or
And
just intimidating you.
and then you have that financial control too, restricting access to money, taking control of finances and forbidding you to work at certain places. Obviously, then you have
Sexual.
sexual abuse. Lord have
Yes.
mercy. Yep. And then you also have spiritual abuse, where you use your faith and belief against you,
And
which
they
is
also, and
which
it's
is
also
tough.
been a really big topic now, is digital abuse.
That's another one. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. You got digital abuse. Let me see if I can run that by you again. Here we have all the different types.
Emotional, psychological, verbal, financial, sexual, digital, and spiritual. And these are not the only ones. There are numerous ways that domestic violence can occur. And if someone's trying to have control over you in
Yep.
your relationship.
Yep.
All right. So Teresa, to our viewing audience, what are some of the things that so you said you worked in a hospital setting,
Mhm.
and did you find that in talking with some of the I don't know, are they called victims, or some of the, I guess, victims? So some of the victims, did they say that like it escalated to this? It
Or
it
was it
used to
their
be
fault?
this, or like what are some of the things that people would say that gave you the impression that weren't even aware that it was really domestic violence?
So most of the women that came in there, they were repeat offenders. So when
Oh
they come in,
wow.
they're repeat offenders, yeah.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
there would be women who've come in the hospital before. We've done an intake on them, or they know who we are, and they're repeat offenders. I've had women who come in there with their abuser. He's actually in the room with them. So
Wow.
yeah, and they don't say it's domestic violence, but because they've been there before.
So
We know
when they would come with them, they would say it's domestic violence, or they would not?
they would
Woo.
not. They would not. They would not.
They
So
just
they would
So
not.
fail or
they would just
just
bring them to the hospital
Yeah,
as if they
and
had
sit
an
in the room.
injury.
Yes, they would come in there and sit like they had an injury. So, there was one incident I remember so clearly that I went into the room because remember, we go into the emergency room and we speak to everybody that comes in there. So if you're in
Right.
there with your husband, hey, my name is Teresa. How are you? I'm an advocate from South Suburban Family
Right.
Shelters. Just want to give you some information about domestic violence.
Okay.
So yeah, and this is what we do. And so when I walked in the room, I looked, I'm like, wow. And sure enough, she had a broke arm.
wow.
Yeah. So I knew right away, he did it. He was like, "We good. We don't need no information." I'm like, "Okay, you guys have a good day." And I walked out. But sure enough, she was a victim. So it's women need to know what are the signs, because you know when it's going to happen. It's called the cycle of violence. So let's talk about the cycle of violence.
Okay.
Okay.
So you have everything's calm. I love you, baby. You're the best. Everything's great. Nothing's going on in the house. Then the woman knows, because you have this eggshell moment when you're walking on eggshells, because or the victim, your partner is
Mm.
going to attack you in some kind of way. So you have the eggshell moment. So you're really careful what you say, what you do, how you maneuver.
Right.
Then it's the physical act or blow of the violence. So, and we're going to say the act, because if they hit you, then and then it's the honeymoon phase. Baby, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. Please
Mhm.
forgive me. I'm so stressed out. Work is crazy. It's just been really stressful. So it's a cycle of violence. And women who are let me correct myself, victims of domestic violence know when the act is going to occur, because it's a cycle. And how do you break the cycle?
Right.
And the goal of us as an advocate is to educate women, tell them there are services out there, and they're for free. They're for free.
Absolutely.
And how do you break that cycle? And some women don't break it because most women stay at home for financial reasons. They can't
Yeah.
afford,
Yep.
or
Yep.
people in general they can't afford to leave, or they're threatened. Or then their partner will say, "I'll kill myself if you leave." So now
Right.
that's
Right.
Right. That
psychological
manipulation.
Manipulation.
So let's talk
manipulation. Yep.
about what we can do to help. So, if someone is experiencing domestic violence, here are some of the ways that you can help. Listen without judgment. Oftentimes, people people want to say, well, this is what I would do. Can you read it from? This is what I would do, or this is what you should do. And the thing is, when you're not in that situation, you really don't know. Encourage them to seek help. As Teresa said, you don't have to force it, but gently suggest contacting professionals or even seeking out what is domestic violence, or how can you help yourself if you are a victim of domestic violence, right? So help them create a safety plan.
Yeah.
Oftentimes they stay because there is nowhere else to go.
Well, you know what? And then you also got to be patient with them too,
Yes.
because they're not going to get to that decision that quickly. So you're going to have to just be patient if they say, well, it just happened this one time.
Right. Or be patient with them understanding and creating the plan, because leaving an abusive relationship, it's complicated and everybody doesn't know that there could be children. There could be, like you said.
And it's dangerous to leave.
Not only do they say, I'm going to kill myself, they say, if you try to leave, I'm going to kill you.
Right.
And so, or I'm going to kill someone that you love. So we have to be patient with people who may be in that situation. But here are some of the places that we found that you can get help. So there are some resources, the National Domestic Violence Hotline. So Jason, if you have that up, can you bring that up for us? So here are some places that you can seek some information, seek some help. Love and Respect is another place. RAIN, which is Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. Local shelters for domestic violence services and counseling services. It says seek out therapists or counselors who specialize in trauma and domestic violence. It's important to get the right people for the right job, right? Because not everyone is trained in this area. So Teresa, like I asked you about the breast cancer place, are there any places that were not up there that maybe you can suggest to people that you're familiar with?
So one is ANEW, which used to be South Suburban Family Shelters. They
Okay.
provide emergency sheltering. They have the counseling. They even have an abuser program, which is usually court ordered, where the abuser has to go to like a group setting and learn how to manage his anger or her anger.
Exactly.
And then they have the South Suburbia Crisis Center, and that's in Tinley Park. Those services are also free. They also have a 24-hour hotline. Both agencies do, and they both provide counseling for women and children. Both provide emergency sheltering as well, for the victim as well. So it's the
Okay.
South Suburbia Crisis Center, which is in Tinley Park, and then the ANEW, which is in Homewood.
So I have a question. What does it look like for a male that's a victim? Had you had to interact with a male that was a victim and have a conversation?
I have not. Men have a sense of pride.
Yep.
And they will not confess that they've been abused. And they will not. Have we had male victims before? Absolutely. Have I encountered them? No, I have not. But men are abused by their partner, male, if it's male or
Absolutely.
female. I
Right.
have not. It's a sense of pride for men. They will not seek help. But it is
As
available
often. Yeah.
as
Yeah.
often. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's go into some of the important. So we're talking about physically. Most of the time we can see when it's physical, but let's discuss when it's being able to recognize signs when it's not physical. Non-physical forms of abuse that can be just as damaging and often unrecognizable.
Yeah, like emotional abuse, right? This type of abuse undermines a person's sense of self-worth, self-esteem. It can just be subtle and overt, and the effects can be deeply damaging over time. Like examples, man, like constant criticism, belittling, name calling, humiliation, or just demeaning remarks. I mean, you know what? It's interesting because sometimes you have this couple. Sometimes you're out and you seem like, man, it's like that relationship is toxic, right? We give it a name. We call it toxic, or it's just it's something. It's a hot mess or whatever. But really, it's a lot deeper than that. So we need to pay attention to
A little bit
those
more mindful.
right,
Yeah.
right. We discount it, right? So anyway, the abuser itself, right, may also gaslight the victim, making them doubt their perception or sanity.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And
No,
you have
baby,
to pay attention.
this ain't what you see. This is
What you
not it.
said, Teresa?
And as family and friends, we have to really pay attention to when there's a shift in how somebody operates. They're not
Yes.
allowed to see you, your family and friends. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
That's a huge red flag. If they're
That's a
extremely
huge red
jealous,
flag. Yep.
extremely jealous, huge red flags. And sometimes, just asking somebody, "Are you okay?" And let them know that you're available if you need to talk about anything. But you got to watch the signs from outside of looking in. And the
And
one
that is go ahead. Mhm.
and the one thing is when they are not allowed to see their family and friends. Where
That's
Yeah, and I
that's the
think that's
main one.
one of the things on our list, but also it's not just the awareness of other people because other people may see it. It's the person who's in it to become aware because usually when we're intimately involved,
It's hard to see.
it's hard to see. And people think, well, you don't know him like I know him. He
Right.
loves me or she loves me and she didn't mean it or they didn't mean it. And so it's hard for the person who's in it, especially if you've maybe have grown up in a toxic environment yourself.
Right.
And so you think this is natural, or you've never had relations, serious relations. Most of the time, I know when I went back to college, a lot of college girls who are just now getting into you're away from home or you're on your own, you're a little in that I'm grown stage, and you get into these relationships. And this is where your first really serious relationships are. And so you're encountering this, but you don't want to believe it because you believe it's love. So you're not really sure because you've never experienced it before. So these are red flags for not only the people on the outside looking in, but anybody being aware that if someone is keeping you apart from your family where they don't want you to talk to them, they don't want you to see
Mhm.
them, they don't want you to be with your friends, they're making you more and more seclusive to them, that is a form of domestic violence because it's control. They're controlling where
Mhm.
you go, who you talk to, when you're doing it, where are you at, when do I need to see you, and they're constantly and it's not going to stop. It becomes more and more and more and more. So,
Mhm.
JC, you want to finish some of the other signs? So the next one was a
Psychological
psychological abuse.
abuse. Yeah. So that's almost covered with um emotional abuse, verbal abuse, financial abuse. Now, um, people just say that they're controlling, right? Financial abuse is like controlling, right? The type of abuse occurs when the abuser controls or limits the victim's access to financial resources. That is a way to control someone, making it difficult for them to leave the relationship or gain independence. If you don't know what's in the bank, if you don't know what's coming in, you don't
You
know how
know
to
how
pay
you're
any
going to
bills.
survive, or
Yeah,
right?
it's just a way of control. So you are controlling all bank accounts, preventing the victim from working. One, if you're not making any money, you don't know anything. Then you have restricted access to the money, and then you'll give an allowance.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then we talk about sexual abuse. Some people think that if you're in a relationship, even if you're married, that if your partner wants sex, you're supposed to give it to them.
Hmm.
No, any having sex without agreeing to it, that's some type of abuse, sexual abuse.
Okay.
Coercing a partner into unwanted sexual activities, refusing to practice safe sex, that's another one of sexual abuse, or withholding sex as a form of control. Right? So all of these things play a part. We have to get the 411, the honest, the truth of what it is. And then when we go into digital abuse, we're
You know what?
talking.
And then digital abuse. This is something people feel like they have the right. If we're dating or whatever, I have the right to go through your phone, check all your
See
things.
who you've been talking to
Right.
on the
I want to
computer
monitor your
and
phone calls, your
right.
texts, your social media accounts,
Yep.
all
Mhm.
without your consent. And then you know what? If I get mad, I can send threatening messages, and then cyber stalking you, spreading private
I
information
saw you
online.
like this guy's picture. Saw you like
Right.
this girl's picture. And what was that about?
And
Now I
that's
don't want
one of
you. I
those
want you to
gray
befriend them.
areas, right?
Yeah,
Because social media is something new.
Mhm.
Digital abuse is something new,
it is. People
but
don't
it's still
realize,
abuse.
and people don't realize
Yeah.
when you're in a relationship, whether you're married or not, if someone has to have control over your phone, where they have to see who you're texting, who you're calling, who you're talking to,
Hmm.
that is a sign of control. They're wanting control over you. And if they need to do that, if it's a trust issue, then you don't need to be with that person.
Okay.
But no one has the right to force you where they check your phone, they check who you're talking to, they check what you're doing. They have a right to say who you can and cannot communicate with. So just the people who may be going through this, just be aware of the signs. You don't think it's anything, but it is. It's bigger than what you may
It's the signs.
yeah,
Right?
we have to be able to see the red flags for what they are. And that's a sign of control. Teresa, my apologies. Were you saying something?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you totally. You guys are spot on when it comes to domestic violence, and I it's for me the motivator for me to be an advocate. I need to understand because I'm a mother, and I grew up in a household where my stepfather was abusive, and I'm trying to figure out why are you staying with this idiot, and the physical abuse stopped as we got older because we were able to defend her. I had two brothers who were very if I'm a 5'11" woman, I have brothers that are 6'2", 6'3", so the physical stopped, but the
Right.
verbal did not stop.
Exactly.
So I understood as I got older that she stayed because she was a what's the word that a kept woman.
Okay.
So
Yep.
so she didn't have to work, so he
Yep.
worked. So he had control of the finances. So
He
I
had
get it.
control of her. He had
Yep.
control of her. If you
Controlling the finance, you're really controlling the whole household.
And it's
Yeah.
really, it's even though it's the finance, it's not even about the money, it's about the mental control. Because, you know what I'm saying, mentally, they make you think, well, you can't survive without me. What are you going to do? Where are you going to go?
Right.
You don't have any money,
You don't have
right?
any money,
I
you don't have
take
any
care of you,
skills,
right?
any-
So
yep.
it's so much deeper because we like, and that's what they say, don't judge. We can't judge if you've never been in that situation because you really don't know. And most of the time, people don't know what to do as they're going through that. But here are some of the things that they say that people experience. They experience fear. These are the reasons why they stay. For fear, fear of the, most people that they're afraid of what's going to happen. Where am I
Right.
going to go? Who am I going to turn to? Emotional manipulation and low self-esteem. That's why they stay. They hope that it's going to change. They're always hoping for the better.
Yeah.
Like you said, that cycle, right, Teresa? Oh, I love you. I didn't mean it. Please stay. The isolation. The financial dependency, which we're talking about, children, all these things play a factor. The cultural or religious beliefs why people don't leave, the guilt or responsibility that they look up, the lack of resources or knowledge. And I know that, I was looking at, or the love attachment. I was looking at a post one day, and the girl was talking about, she was a victim of physical abuse, and that when she went and got help, she didn't have anywhere to go. So they sent her somewhere, and then it was more physical abuse. And oftentimes we have to understand when we're young and we're looking for someone to help us, that we have to be able to give services out there for young people to be able to stand up on their own 2 feet and be declared independent and help them in ways that makes them succeed in life, not put them back in situations because they're children and they have nowhere else to go.
Yeah, I agree.
So Teresa, go ahead. Is there anything that you want to add to any of those things?
No, I think you guys have hit it spot on in regards to domestic violence. And the one thing women need to know that they should not suffer in silence. That they can
Sure
always
should.
speak.
Women
They should
and
not,
men.
and I'm
Victims.
so sorry. Victims should not suffer in silence.
We're gonna
That
stop there.
there's help available that can help you get out of the situation that you're in. They just have to I think it's all about courage and be able to be uncomfortable or look for the opportunity to make a change for yourself. So you guys have provided great information in regards to domestic violence. I
And I
just
think,
pray that the people would just seek help because it is
yeah,
out
Seek
there.
help.
I think even what you said earlier, to just have the courage to, one, be aware
Mhm.
and just know that there is help.
There is.
That regardless of what it may look like, there is help, and have the mindset shift that I am worthy, I am enough, whoever it may be, and that I'm going to survive. I'm going to make it through this. I'm somehow, some way, I'm going to get to the other side. So just, it's easier said than done, and we're not
Yes,
judging, but we have to
No,
become
not judging.
aware, both as the victim and as a family or friend or neighbor of a victim. Right.
yes.
Oftentimes people go, well, I'm a mind my business. I hear fighting going on over there, and I hear things being broken.
So true.
And then when the police come or someone's called, they're like, oh no, everything's okay. We have to be active. No more silence. No more silence as the victim. No more silence as the neighbor. No more silence as, oh, I'm a mind my business. I don't have anything to do with that. We have to be able to support each other and show up for each other in different ways.
Yes.
Everybody is connected. We're all connected. So we have to do our part. Sometimes people are just looking for someone to take the first step to help them. So know the signs. Know that there's more than just physical abuse.
Yeah.
Know the signs. And most of the time, like you said, if you get out of those situations, seek help, because there's so much baggage attached to that.
Yeah, you can get out of the situation, but psychologically, you have to do some. You have to
So
really be
much,
born
so
again.
much.
Really, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
psychologically.
It
But we
is.
had
I agree.
Alicia Stokes that said hello.
Hello,
Uh-huh.
Alicia.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
She said,
one of my 6th grade. Let's talk, sis.
"Boy, you go." Yeah, she said, "Let's
That's
talk."
Listen, all
one of
So
my
you
right.
gotta get
Yes.
one of
caught up
my
with they.
friends from grade school. So they all
Wonderful.
came
That
together.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining the conversation.
Yeah.
So, Teresa, the last question. So, anything you can share that when you were dealing with victims, like, what was the hardest part of getting them to be able to seek a different situation?
Getting them to leave.
And so what
Uh,
was the biggest obstacle in that? Convincing them, or what?
well, you know what? Let me take that back. I think the biggest obstacle is having to just to listen, because they feel like you don't understand my situation. You're not in
Okay.
my shoes. So
Right.
how can you give me any advice? So just to listen. Um, and that
That's
was
a
the
very
big
good point.
it is. We can leave them, and there are times I had women would say no. And they came in as a domestic violence patient, and they was like, I don't need your help. So when that
Mhm.
happens, we just have to leave them the information and walk away. And that was difficult because, like I said, they were the same women that came in the hospital. And it's always will be an increase in domestic violence during the holiday time,
Mm.
especially during Christmas time when you have children. If they have financial struggles and they can't give gifts. So you will see an increase in domestic violence during Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Wow.
Yes.
So guys, let's just be aware, and let's
So
get educated,
yep.
and let's just see how we can maybe just become a soul advocate, right?
Yeah.
Or just do more. Let's hold the gap for someone who doesn't know that there's help, or may not, like you said, the embarrassment of I'm not being abused, right?
Mhm.
That's not something easy we can talk about.
Yeah.
All right,
Mel had a nice comment here.
okay,
Mel said, "If you can see it or hear it, it is your business, people,"
that's
and that
right.
is so true.
Yes, yes. That's
Right.
what we have to stop that nonsense that's been created. And this is, and even when we're talking about in this show about relationships, and Jason and I talk about marriages, right? We've been told that you keep your business to yourself. The truth is that there's nothing new under the sun. We all experience pretty much the same issues in marriage and in intimate relationships. But if we don't talk about, we're not talking about you spilling the tea. We're not talking about my husband did this, my wife did this. We're talking about the issues and finding real solutions to them. Because the truth is that because we've held them in so long, or because we've closed the door and thought that we're the only ones going through them, we're not seeking answers. And the truth is that pick up a book, right? Our book, Manifest a Joy-Filled Relationship. It's not about being smiles. It's about understanding that there are real solutions to real problems, and that it begins with you. It begins with, how do I show up? What do I need to do to get into alignment with what is natural,
Yeah.
right? Flowers don't grow underneath the ground. They grow up above it so you can see them, right? We have to stop burying our head in sand thinking that there's not answers. There are. It starts with us. And so when we talk about real issues and we let people know, then we're spreading the word of how to make things better. We can talk about the issue without talking about our business. We
For
can,
sure.
yeah, we can find solutions without finger pointing, because that doesn't make it any better. We just weren't taught to read a book, seek some kind of help, go out and get some type of counseling, or Jason and I are relationship coaches. We talk to couples all the time, married and unmarried, about just simple things, that how to communicate, how to get your point across without being angry, without having it to lead to anger, right? Being able to be emotionally intelligent enough to hold a conversation where
Hmm.
I'm not threatened by what you're telling me, or as we talk about gaslighting, right? So there's so many issues out there that all we have to do is everything in the darkness. If we just shed light on it, we can have a whole different outcome.
And that's what this series has been about. It's about shedding a light, bringing awareness, talking about the things that we don't talk about normally. So we just bring it out to the forefront, right? I learned a lot. Thank you, Teresa, for sharing.
Yes, thank you.
Because
thank
I
you.
am better in my knowledge now, and I understand. I had no idea. I knew it was tough, but you really you really put a lot of light on it,
And thank
I
you,
really appreciate that.
for both breast cancer awareness and domestic violence.
Yes.
Thank you so
Well,
much
thank
for
you for
showing up
having me.
and holding that, as I said, this is what I'm talking about, holding that gap for people, understanding that we can talk about it because we need to
Absolutely.
talk about it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Let's
We should never
stop.
suffer in silence. We should never
Yes,
suffer
Yeah.
in
no
silence.
more silence. No more
No more
silence.
silence. Yes.
All right, so I think we have held Teresa long enough. Like I said, thank you
Yeah.
so much, Teresa, for
On a
being here.
Friday night, and I just got paid. Girl, come on here.
All right, let's go all the way up to the end, Jason. So we're just going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We're here every Friday.
Every Friday.
Until we say so,
Yep.
until we decide that we might not want to do it. Make sure you go check out our other lives and our other podcasts. You can find them on YouTube or Love and Beyond the I Do or Legendary Relationship, even our website, legendaryrelationship.com. The next in-person event that we will be having will be Saturday, October the 19th at the Irwin Community Center at 10:30 a.m.
Yes.
We will be at the Irwin Community Center October 19th at 10:30 a.m.
Come out and have a good time. We're gonna be we're gonna talk about the book. We're gonna talk about how you can manifest and have things manifest things in your life, and also talk about spiritual principles.
Or universal principles, where
Universal
we're going to talking
principles.
about the book. So just all kind of good things. We'll be answering questions about relationships or issues or whatever.
Come out, you might learn how to meditate.
So make sure that you like, share, follow, and subscribe to our channel, and that is at Legendary Relationship and it's only one, no S, Legendary Relationship, just one relationship at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Please hit the share button on the replay, or once we finish any of our information, please share and get the word out. We're thanking everyone who does that. Thank you so much. We're here to build healthy relationships. Is there anything else, Jace?
I think you covered it all. You got the website, legendaryrelationship.com, all of our social media at Legendary Relationship.
How about the book?
I was just going to get to the book. And also you can purchase the book at Manifest a Joy-Filled Relationship.com. Grab a copy. It's a good read. That's what I've been told. Not just because we wrote it, but that's what people have told us. And we greatly appreciate that.
Amazon bestseller and #1 in both of our categories. So
Yep.
Amazon #1 new
Hot
hot
new
release.
release.
Yes.
Yep.
So we thank you, everyone. We thank you for tuning in. We thank you for the comments. We thank you for the replay. We thank you and we love you for tuning in. And we thank you that everyone in the world can make a difference if we each just play our part.
Right.
Don't play small. Let's play big.
What they say, your story isn't your story.
That's right. We got
You're
to share it
supposed
with
to
the
share
world.
your story.
And let's thank our guest, Teresa. If we could give her, do you know
No,
which one is that?
I don't. I knew you were going to ask me.
All right, let's everyone get the.
I knew you were going
Thank
to
you
ask
for
me.
having me. Thank you
Yes,
for
yes.
having
Thank
me.
you,
Thank
Teresa.
You've been a wealth of information and an
Thank you so much.
inspiration.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
if you ever feel like you want to return and share some more, you be like, man, I would like to say this. I'm a wealth of information. Feel free to reach out and we can always have you on and have a conversation. If we just talk about
I see the gym on Monday.
Yeah.
even if it's just to have a conversation, to talk about working out, the importance of working out.
Yes.
And she be getting it, y'all. You got to see it. She be hitting it. She's serious about her workout.
She's like, don't talk to me. I got to work out.
I'm doing weights too. You need some more weights on them legs.
But you do need to put a little weight on there. That's I'm gonna say that.
I play weights fast. Stop playing with me.
Look at that increase though. Remember when you were just doing one and he was like, what you doing?
I said, look at that. She over there with
See?
145 on the leg press. Come on, girl.
Are you serious? No, I never had 145 play. Never.
I saw 145.
I have 4 on each side. What about that? Huh?
Yeah, you
What
do.
about
You were
that?
killing
There
it.
you go. There you go.
I see you killing it now.
All right. Any more comments? We're going to get out of here.
All right, yo.
The last two.
Yeah. All right. So Mel said, great podcast. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're here every week.
Mel.
Yeah.
Melly Mel, thanks for tuning in.
All right.
She's a walking encyclopedia. Amen.
Okay,
All
amen.
right.
Thank
Let's
you,
get
cuz.
that.
I
Let's get
love
that
you.
information. Her story and her knowledge is not hers. Hello, Regina.
Hey, Regina.
Good evening, everyone. Great
Yep.
topic. Thank you, Regina. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you so
greatly
much.
appreciate it. And don't forget to share, like,
And subscribe
and
to our
tell somebody.
channel.
We're back here every Friday talking about various different topics, but it's all
dealing
about
with
making
relationships.
relationship and making yourself better as well.
All right. So I think that's another wrap for us. And as always,
Hold up, baby cakes.
oh, gotta slow my roll. You ready?
Yep.
All right.
Ready.
So I think that's a wrap for us for real this
All
time.
right, Tricia, don't go anywhere.
Yes. Teresa, say goodbye to everybody before we head out.
You want to say
Bye,
one last thing
everybody.
before we get out of here, Teresa?
This is a great experience. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my story, my experiences, my story being as a warrior of breast cancer. I encourage every woman to get them that yearly mammogram. Who cares if it's a squeeze, but going through chemo and radiation is a million times worse. Get that mammogram every year. Domestic violence victims, there's help out there. Free help, get it. Don't be embarrassed. Thank you so much.
And so before we get out, I just want to say when I had my mammogram, I had it at, I believe it was South Suburban Hospital, and they have new technology, and it wasn't even that bad.
It's
It
not.
wasn't even that bad of a squeeze. You know, I was all scared, and it was amazing. It was
It's
okay.
technology for
Yeah,
you.
it's technology to it makes it easier. All
It
right,
does.
so
One more.
one more.
Yep,
All right,
Nancy said,
Nancy
"Hey,
says,
guys."
"Hey, Nancy,
Hey,
how you doing,
Nancy, how
Nancy?
are
Thanks
you?
for tuning in." All right, is there anyone else out there that would love for us to shout you out before we get out of here? Yep, we are late. We're having great conversation, so we
Yeah.
will do it next time. All right, so as always,
We're in it to win it. Till next week, guys. We'll
Till-
see you. Thanks for watching.
Thanks,
Thanks for
guys.
tuning-
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Lovin' Beyond the I Do podcast. Head over to iTunes to subscribe and leave a review. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Legendary Relationship, or visit our website at legendaryrelationship.com. Till next time, remember to make every day count.